Welcome back. Today we join a craftsman preparing for a long haul in the northern woods, turning standing timber and raw earth into a permanent homestead. The work begins before the thaw. Tapping maple trees for early spring sap provides a crucial calorie-dense resource. Sugar water flowing now means energy for the heavy labor ahead.
He only runs if there's another customer. He'll just run with him. Just on. Someone's gonna be carrying the baby. Someone's gonna be carrying everything else.
Every day starts with fuel. Felling and processing deadwood clears the site while feeding the constant demand for heat. A smoking fire on damp ground is a stark reminder of the elements. Before any structural work can advance, maintaining a reliable burn zone is essential. The fire acts as a tool, keeping hands warm enough to operate hand tools safely.
You could also just throw it through a window. I'm gonna dig them out of my fucking hand.
Splitting logs along the grain reveals the timber's internal structure. A clean strike drives the axe wedge into the natural fault lines of the wood, parting it with minimal effort. This stockpile of dry, split wood isn't just for immediate warmth. It is an insurance policy against sudden temperature drops. A full woodshed means survival during a winter storm. Charring timber before setting it into the earth creates a natural barrier against rot and insects. The carbonized layer preserves the structural integrity of the foundation logs. Hewing round logs into flat dimensional lumber requires precision. A small hand axe offers the fine control needed to shave away excess material without compromising the core strength. Field stones packed along the baseline deflect groundwater away from the lower logs. Moving the workspace indoors marks a major shift. The structure can now protect the finished carpentry. A heavy, solid wood door is the primary defense against the wind. Fitting it requires exact measurements. An out-of-square frame will cause binding as seasonal humidity swells the timber. Heavy-duty hinges must bite deep to the log wall to support the cantilevered weight. The steel latch secures the weather seal. The custom handle and stained glass transform an opening into a formal threshold. Wood is dynamic, shrinking, and settling as the autumn air pulls moisture from the grain. Fine-tuning the door clearances prevents sticking. The exterior trim acts as a flashing, shedding rainwater past the critical joint where the frame meets the massive log walls. Working at the peak requires absolute focus. A proper chimney seal is vital. Roof penetrations are the most vulnerable points for water ingress. High temperature flashing redirects heavy rain and melting snow away from the stovepipe. Securing this before the deep freeze locks the roof against the coming winter storms. Inside, vertical space becomes valuable real estate. Tapping wooden shelves directly into the log walls creates sturdy, off-the-floor storage. Adding cured animal hide provides tough, natural insulation and drafts protection, utilizing every harvested material to increase the cabin's thermal efficiency. Fine whittling demands a sharp blade and a deep understanding of grain direction. Carving small, custom wooden pieces allows for precise, frictionless fitment in moving parts as latches. It is slow, deliberate work that grounds the builder in the rhythm of the craft. Constructing durable joints often requires laminating smaller boards together. Wood glue, when properly clamped and cured, creates a bond stronger than the surrounding wood fibers. Shaping these cured pieces over a stump anvil refines their geometry. The work is methodical, guided by the fading autumn light. Every finished component brings the homestead closer to self-sufficiency. Peeling bark with a draw knife removes the cambium layer where moisture and pests accumulate. Once the wood is stripped clean, structural assembly continues. Using a traditional hand auger to bore mortise holes requires significant upper body strength, but it delivers unmatched precision. The deep, cylindrical cuts allow wooden tenons to interlock tightly without relying on metal fasteners. This ancient joinery technique flexes slightly under wind loads, making the porch railing highly resilient. The resulting framework is locked together by friction and geometry. Feathering dry wood creates maximum surface area for a spark to catch. Birch bark contains highly flammable natural oils, allowing it to ignite quickly even in damp, freezing conditions. Winter maintenance requires moving immense weight through deep powder. A long lever pole multiplies mechanical advantage, allowing one person to shift heavy timber without straining their back. Gravity and leverage do the work the human body cannot. Nailing the final exterior trim seals the expansion gaps around the window frame. These gaps are necessary to allow the logs to settle without crushing the glass, but they must be covered to stop drags. The overlapping trim boards create a labyrinth seal against driving snow. With the perimeter secured and the cold effectively locked out, the shell of the cabin is complete. The ice hanging from the roofline is proof of the thermal boundary working. thermal envelope changes the nature of the wilderness. The warm light spilling through the glass signifies a successful transition from survival to habitation. Solar energy, collected during the short daylight hours, now powers the interior against the creeping dark. Morning routines anchor the mind in isolation. Boiling water over a wood stove and brewing coffee is a quiet victory over the freezing temperatures outside. The heat inside the cabin is no longer survival equipment. It offers genuine comfort. Adding a window to a solid log wall post-construction is a delicate operation. Tapping the chinking confirms the structural soundness of the surrounding timber. Sawing directly through the thick wall exposes the deep insulating core of the cabin. This high loft vent will allow trapped heat to escape during the summer while pulling in fresh air. Securing the loft flooring finishes the upper level, creating a dedicated, elevated sleeping space where warm air naturally pools. heavy, finished furniture across the snow requires careful transport to avoid damage. The intricate carving on the wooden chest represents the transition from rough carpentry to fine aesthetic living. Placing it inside the cabin finalizes the space. The metal stove, now the heart of the home, anchors the room, radiating steady heat that keeps the deep freeze at bay.
Trying to see where I'm going.
The daily reality of off-grid winter living revolves around the stove. Hauling split logs through waist-deep snow burns massive calories. The canvas bag prevents wet snow from soaking the dry bark. Every trip keeps the thermal battery of the cabin charged. Without running water, sanitation requires immense mechanical effort. The ridges of the washboard agitate the fabric, breaking down oils and dirt trapped in the fibers. Relying on a hand-cranked washing machine conserves precious solar battery power, turning human stamina into clean gear. Stepping away from the chores allows time to read the landscape. The deep snowpack insulates the root systems below, just as the cabin insulates its inhabitants. Inspecting older, rougher shelters left in the woods serves as a benchmark for how far the construction has come. Bark and branches break the wind, but they cannot hold heat. The contrast between these transient lean-tos and the solid log home proves the value of the year's labor.
Yeah, 16, 17 at the peak.
Navigating the icy, shifting river currents requires constant vigilance. The water moves relentlessly, indifferent to the season. Pulling the canoe over the snowpack relies on the hull's displacement to glide across the powder. In the end, structure, landscape, and daily routine operate as one system, a place that produces, protects, and sustains itself. The wilderness remains unforgiving, but they have built a quiet permanence within it.